Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trap Drop Podcast. This is yours truly, TC. Randy is on location this week at Cypress Point, the Cypress Point Club, the CPC. So I'm joined today by my esteemed colleague, the Pie Man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Always a thrill to get pulled in from the bullpen for a chop session. I love it, and let's get some guys out.
I love that. No, I mean, I would say you're kind of the long man coming out. Like you're like the finisher.
Potential opener
Uh,
for
you know,
maybe we had an opener last week, and now we need to get 4 or 5 innings out of me. Maybe
that whole concept still blows my mind. We
the
can talk
openers are
about
sick. The openers are
baseball
sweet.
and
I'm in
stuff.
on them,
Yeah. Let's see here. Where do we wanna go? We gotta thank Mr. Jeezy, of
of course.
course. We got a good show for you. Actually, Jeezy was doing a symphony orchestra
I
thing.
like that.
And I guess he's been doing live shows with the symphony. So I think Randy and I might need to go get
Yeah,
involved with that.
that'd be fun. A little record on location. I know Cypress
Yeah.
Hill was doing that as well, kind of based off this very long running joke on The Simpsons. They put together a symphony orchestra show. Of course, our guy Ben Rector's always doing symphony shows. Maybe symphonies are hot in the
Yeah.
streets. Have you ever been to the Jack
Metallica,
Symphony?
S&M.
Of
I've
course.
never been to the Jack
Oh,
Symphony.
I think you'd love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
They do pops shows every now and again where it's like either they'll do like whatever, come watch Back to the Future and the symphony will like play the whole soundtrack as it's going on,
Mhm.
or they'll just do, kind of like intro night basically where it's like you go show up and the conductor, or kind of concert master comes out and explains like here's what you're about to hear. Here's what you should look out for. All of these things that are like very obvious and very helpful, but very scoffed and looked down in the symphony. So if you can catch one of those nights, yeah, it's delightful. I
Yeah.
really really like it, and the Jack space is really cool. We used to go there all the time.
I've been to the Symphony Hall before. I've just
Yeah,
never, actually, I think the last time I saw the symphony, it was at, Verizon Amphitheater in Atlanta, or whatever it's called now. They did an accompaniment. They played Planet Earth,
yeah.
and they did an accompaniment to Planet
Gosh, I
Earth.
mean,
It was
sign me
sick.
up. That sounds
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah.
symphony, kind of maybe on the list of things that are sick. We'll see.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Alright, run a show today. We got Mea Culpas and housekeeping. We got some life and fatherhood stuff, recent travels, rest of summer, and then some topics.
Yeah.
We got some good topics. DJ came prepared. He said, "Hey, I would like to talk about this, this, and this," which I love. That's delightful.
Just a lot on my mind lately, I need to get it out of my mind, I feel like.
We are recording this on Friday, July 18th, getting a little bit ahead of the game. We've got some travel upcoming next week. We're going to Nebraska,
Yeah,
which we're excited about.
can't wait. It looks like it's gonna be toasty.
Really,
Toasty. Yeah, it'd be kinda mid-90s, high 90s
last time
maybe,
we
but
were out,
oh, it's
we
like
got the same.
150 degrees.
It was like
Yeah,
high 70s, low 80s for weeks
yeah.
on end, and then it just spikes to 98 and not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, we catch some reprieve, but it'll be a great week nonetheless, I'm sure.
Long days,
Yeah.
long days. Well, let's just get to it. We got the ServPro Mea Culpas. Of course, ServPro, title sponsor of the Trap Drop
Of
podcast. We
course.
thank them for their support. They're also the number one brand in cleanup and restoration, known for making any mess like it never even happened. With over 2,200
Mm.
locations nationwide, they're faster to any size disaster. Visit servpro.com or call 1-800-ServPro today. What do we need to clean up this week, Deej?
Just a quick one, top of mind. I got a number of messages about this on the heels of our last Seamsters Union podcast. I didn't call out, we were doing the head-to-heads, where you're trying to guess who the other guy's talking about. And Randy threw out Wade Boggs. He said he's the only guy to ever get his 3,000th hit on a home run. And I didn't throw a flag. I don't know if I was worn out or what. Derek Jeter very famously, very
Okay.
famously did that same thing. Many Yankees fans, even some Red Sox fans, coming in the DM saying like, "Hey, I don't even want to remind you of this, but we got to clean this one up." So I apologize, both on behalf of Randy for a mistake that I know he's beaten himself up about, but also on my own behalf, just for not calling that one out in the moment. What about you?
Okay. No, that was a big one. You gotta apologize to the captain,
Yeah,
of course.
of course. Talk about
Uh,
somebody who played the game the right way.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just want to personally apologize to Ben on our
Mm,
team. Ben
not
High
good.
Sox hoteling for getting boned up by United Airlines. He said the friendly skies weren't treating him well. I do have some concerns on the back end that we're going to address with him privately about some of the itineraries that he's booking
Mm.
and some best practices that I think he can learn from.
This was out of San
Uh,
Francisco, right? Which is
yeah, on the front end, he was complaining about one of the shitbox 777-200s, the high density
yeah,
old 777s that they fly back and forth to
that's like a
from San
Chicago
Francisco to
to yeah,
Chicago. They're really bad.
they are.
So one of those, again, I don't know why he needs to be booking that flight from KC to San Francisco
Yeah, kinda
or
seems
to
like maybe
Monterey.
Maybe a Denver,
Yeah, Denver,
type
even
of
Houston,
yeah, exactly.
potentially. And then, on the way back, I guess he had issues as well,
Mhm,
while Randy got upgraded and had a smooth sailing back to Denver direct.
interesting.
So, but, listen, I apologize. We're gonna make it right. I also need to apologize for getting so many people addicted to Johnny Pops.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people reaching out and be like, "Seriously, man, like, screw you. Like,
yeah.
these things are way too good."
I I've been thinking reflecting on this a lot. I wouldn't say that I'm addicted, but I did go pretty hot and heavy, in my first couple forays into the Johnny Pops. I much like Neil was describing the other day, watching, my son try to wrap his head around just a frozen treat was really funny, so that was a positive. Uh,
Was it a Johnny Pop?
it was a Johnny Pop, yeah,
What
but,
what which flavor?
Neapolitan. So,
Oh,
of course, at the top, you got the real
ruined for
strawberry.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was, it was a real much like Neil was describing, just like, "I hate this. Why is this so cold? Please give me another bite. I need to go back in
Did he
immediately."
get brain freeze?
Just no, he didn't have that big of a bite. It was
Okay.
just like, "I've never had cold food before. Why did you just trick me? Why did this just feel so different than all my other food?"
It's
Uh,
like Freddy. Freddy's still like I mean, they eat so many popsicles, but every night before he goes to bed, he eats like 3 ice cubes. He just goes to the freezer and just picks out
I thought you were
3
gonna say
ice
3
cubes.
popsicles. I was like, "Ugh, I don't know
No,
if that's a good habit."
no, that's not a good habit. That's my habit.
Uh, what I will say about the Johnny Pops is in a weird way, I think it's saved me a little bit that the boxes are fairly small. Like,
6.
you know,
6 in
because
a
like, yeah,
box,
there's
yeah.
only 6 in a box, and so I'm not going to the store, and I know this is probably where we differ, but I'm not going to the store and just hoovering up, like, "Give me 10 boxes of these things," you know? But if they did sell a 20 pack, I probably would buy the 20 pack. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's like, I'm
yeah.
not gonna buy more than 2 boxes. So therefore, it's like, "Alright,
That's how I mean,
I'm only going to the grocery store so often. I'm only" you know, it's like
you're so early in this thing.
there's only so much input that I can have with those small boxes, so it's been under control, but I could see how it would get off the rails for people.
I ate, like, yesterday by 2 p.m., I had 6 Neapolitans by 2 p.m. and one of the mango ones like, I need to stop. I'm gonna get so fat.
Where do you, are you team kinda like juice pops or team
Both,
ice cream?
both.
Like, what would be your
Yeah.
ten-round split?
The Neapolitan, I mean, so there's flavors that they're not even providing to us here in Jacksonville. This orange and cream one, berries and cream. There's all sorts of stuff I haven't even tried yet.
Hmm,
But I would say out of the Neapolitan, the mango cream is really, really good as well. Um, Not as big of a fan of the fudge. What else? The birthday cake is too sweet.
yeah,
So
haven't
I
haven't
like
tried that one.
the bomb pops, maybe mix in 1 or 2 rainbow ones and then a bunch of Neapolitan ones. I'm going like 4-4-2 or 5-4-1.
I see.
Neapolitan bomb pop.
You know what is interesting? Maybe I'm just kind of thinking about this on the Tommy Fleetwood front. You know, you've driven a lot of people. I think our friends at FanDuel should chip you off for the rake that they're getting of all these people betting on Tommy Fleetwood this week. But I think that's one thing where you've pushed a lot of people. I think Johnny Pops is obviously another one where the people are following. Solly called you the Motley Fool today, which I thought was very funny. But you've tried to run this playbook on Steve snapping dogs at the Denver airport, and that did
We'll
not
get
work,
there.
apparently, and I was just wondering if that falls into the mea culpa category. They're closing down, and I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, I think, Cody confirmed it. Steve Snapping Dogs is closing down, and I think,
This is
I don't
the
know if
airport
Steve's
location or the one by
this
Randy's
is well,
house?
I think their in-town location already closed down.
Mm,
I don't know if Steve's not in good health but it sounded like there wasn't a lot of comms between them and the
I
airport
see.
employees. So, sad day. I did go to Hot Dog Hut yesterday, which always great. Uh,
No one out hot dogs the hut.
exactly. It's this
What do you get at the
place
hot dog
near
hut?
my Chicago dog.
Yeah.
Every time Chicago dog. The New York dog's good too, but the Chicago dog's
What's the
awesome.
difference? I mean, I know what's on a
Uh,
Chicago dog. I don't know what's on a New
the
York
New
dog.
York dog has the sauerkraut,
Oh,
still
I
has
see.
celery salt, but, I took my mom there, she was like, "This is awesome." I guess, like, she ate a bunch of Chicago style hot dogs because they were living in Chicago when I
Yeah,
was born.
just
She was like,
outside
"Yeah,
Chicago.
you're not supposed to eat hot dogs when you're pregnant, but I
Yeah.
ate a bunch of them when I was pregnant with you." So maybe that's why I'm so messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know how this place stays in business. They might be open like 14 hours a week. They're open from, like 11 to 1:30, like 3 days a week basically. But, delightful institution. Listen, this has been a really unwieldy mea culpa section, gone a lot of different directions. I do have a mea culpa, kind of a virtual mea culpa here.
Hmm.
Solly messaged that he had a dream. He said, quote, "I forgot to mention this on the
Which is
team
usually
call."
your block. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is the first time Solly's ever pulled this. I've never
I haven't
ever
been
heard him
sleeping
talking
very
about this
well. I
before.
haven't had many, like, vivid dreams lately. He said, I had a dream last night that we were all on a chartered United flight. We found out that TC gets all of his upgrades by staying behind after everyone deplanes to film commercials for United. He had to dress up like a business traveler and get into his first class seat. We all stayed and watched and heckled him. He also bought a set of 2 United coasters as we were deplaning for $90.
That's the specificity on that is all time. I
Yeah,
could I man, that's just such a good I don't know, almost like a Seinfeld or, Curb Your Enthusiasm type of bit payoff, you know? Like, that would be it's not the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard, you know? It's like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah.
TC, if you just sign this contract, if you'll just stay for 15 minutes after your flight and do some of these, like, stock photo shots that we need, like, we'll give you all kinds of upgrades and plus points and everything." Like,
Well, I'm
that
not
like, you would definitely sign up for that.
for sure. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use all my plus points this year though.
Mm,
Uh, but, like, I'm not qualified to
that's
do
a
that
good
on Delta
do you if you don't
because
use them, do you lose them?
now you can trade them in for other stuff, but it's like,
Like
the
coasters?
exchange yeah, maybe there's some coasters. The exchange rate stinks though. So, I'm not qualified to do that on Delta because all of their marketing is centered around virtue signaling. And, we we
Sure.
always talk about
It is. It is.
those pictures down the jetway.
It is very curated, very
Yeah,
curated.
yeah. Anyway, shout out to ServPro. Those are our
Yeah,
mea culpas for the week. Um, Listen, I got a little bit of housekeeping and monitoring. We
sure.
gotta do an Eric Adams check-in. Uh, Neil's been tracking this. This is his guy. He's declared a W in the war on rats.
Yeah, I heard about this. I
Uh,
it just
he's also
seems
yeah.
like things are about to I mean, you know, many people can hear much more about this elsewhere, but, yeah, the New York mayoral race, man, it might be the only
Popping off.
thing anyone's talking about for the next until it happens. I don't even know when it is, but it's like
Yeah, you got Cuomo is now he's saying he's gonna run as an independent.
yeah,
EA is running as an independent. You got I don't even know who the Republican candidate is. He has no shot. And
yeah.
then you've got this Mamdani guy. Meanwhile, there's the ex-police commissioner, Thomas G. Donlin, who served only a couple weeks, said in a lawsuit that Adams was running the NYPD as a criminal enterprise,
It's not
uh,
good.
which,
That's
love that.
not a good endorsement there. But also
But no,
seems
I'm
pretty
yeah.
I mean, that seems fairly, believable. It's a little bit of a United, coaster situation. Seems pretty
I
believable
do
on its
I
face.
just love seeing all these guys, the Bill Ackmans of the world kind of boomeranging around and now endorsing Eric Adams and putting their weight behind him. A very serious
True
operation.
land of the blind
Yeah,
type of situation.
yeah.
But
Other political stuff, potentially peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. Little Marco potentially getting things done in the Great Lakes of Africa. continue to
That's
monitor that.
that's been monitoring. I mean, you guys have been tracking that for years at this point.
Years. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
better part of the decade. Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a lot to add on that one, but, certainly need to get up on that news, I feel like. If
Yeah, elsewhere in Africa, it's been popping off in Kenya.
What does that mean?
Wolfie and I have been tracking this. There's big protests, a lot of, corruption,
Hmm,
graft, economy's not doing well, a lot of youth unemployment, things of that nature, so, we're gonna keep monitoring that. We got the Chechens. There's a strongman potential succession thing going on up there.
really?
Yeah, yeah, kinda, heir to it's kinda that restive semi-autonomous region. So you gotta rule that with an iron fist, right? So, uh,
Did you, strange aside, but, did you ever watch Barry on HBO?
no.
I think you'd like it. It's really, really good. Bill Hader, he's
Okay.
like a assassin, but he tries to become an actor, and it's very good. But anyways, the Chechens get a ton of run in that, and so I would love to, speak intelligently about the Chechens and their succession plan and any of this that's going on, but most of my Chechen knowledge, I think, comes from Barry.
Okay. Randy's a big Chechen guy.
Really?
Loves the Chechens. Yeah, ever
It
since the Tsarnaev brothers. It's just
Sure.
he's just fascinated by them. Have you seen this stuff about sperm racing?
I saw a little bit in our Slack, but I think maybe the audience would probably do well to hear a little bit of an explanation.
Yeah, there's a sperm racing. I guess it's out in LA. They're saying it's a microscopic competition between sperm cells. Microscopic racetrack that mimics the female reproductive system, where sperm samples from two competitors are placed and their movement is tracked. And it's intended to destigmatize the male fertility issues by framing it as a sport or a form of entertainment.
Yeah, I'm on the website. It sounds like it's put on by the National Institute for Spermatozoa Exploration. Which I'm not familiar with the institute's work. Sperm racing isn't a joke. It's not some viral idea for the internet to laugh at. It's something much bigger. Male fertility is declining a lot. It's happening quietly, steadily. No one's really talking about it. And sperm mobility, how fast your sperm moves, turns out to be a massive factor in fertility. It's measurable,
Yeah,
trackable, just like running a race or lifting a weight, something you can actually improve. So that's why they're turning it into a sport, raising some awareness. And here we are talking about it on the trap draw. So, maybe mission accomplished.
yeah. Eric Zhu, 17-year-old. He's putting this thing
His
on the
what is
map.
Oh, I thought he was the champion. Like his
No, no, oh
do we have
no,
a grand
yeah.
I wonder if we have a grand champion
I,
at
I
kind of
like
like
I don't even know if is there an age limit,
Yeah, I
right?
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd have to,
Like at some point we might have to, there might be
I mean,
PEDs.
yeah. I imagine there's gonna be like a, Michael Johnson world's fastest man type of person
Michael
identified.
Michael Johnson, no pun intended.
Exactly.
Big Mike Johnson.
I'm gonna have to, it seems like there's no races on the books right now, but the next race
Okay.
will be announced soon. So, again, possibly something to just kinda keep our eye on.
You know what? I had a Jersey Mike's Shore Point, or a Jersey Mike's franchise owner reach out
Mm,
just regarding some of the Shore Points stuff that we were talking about. And he was adamant that they will not devalue the Shore Points.
no new
Those things are
taxes.
it might be the best. He said it might be the best inflation hedge there is.
I didn't think about that. Uh,
So in 5 years of a foot long, number 13 might be $28, but your shore points are still gonna be pegged at what they are. I don't know, 300 or 400 shore points or
how
whatever.
does he have the authority to make that declaration? I just don't know if you're the
Especially
guys
now
that
in the private equity,
Yeah, I don't know if
Blackstone
the goons are
era.
gonna go for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I'd love to believe it, but I just don't know if I don't know how much of the portfolio I can diversify into shore points as a hedge against inflation. I mean, what if you just kinda get caught with your pants down on that one? Stuck
It'd be
with a
sick if you could
stuck with 1,000,000
transfer
shore points. I don't know.
Amex points into shore points.
That would be sick. I don't know if there's anything like that that exists, but that'd be a good volley back to him, maybe.
Yeah.
Take
I
this
live, like,
guys.
right between there's a Jersey Mike's over on Beach Boulevard,
Mm.
and there's
Hard to
one in
park over
Atlantic,
there. Hard to
but
it's
there's
such
yeah,
a small parking lot.
there's not one near us, and there's not one in Ponte Vedra.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
you're in a little bit of a Jersey Mike's
kinda wanna take it
desert
into
there.
my own hands and start my own Jersey Mike's franchise.
That's interesting. What I
So,
would huh. I have to
just
think
have
about
Freddie
that.
run it.
Yeah. Almost wonder if you could just third party it. Maybe you just start buying wholesale from Jersey Mike's and you set up your own kind of resale space,
Yeah, that would
not
be
limited to any of
scummy.
the standards. I don't
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
that would just be Sun Deli, right?
That's true. Gosh, I miss that place. That place is really good.
Yeah.
I wanted to say on the Jersey Mike's front, I know this was something I was tracking. I think last time actually we talked on the Trap Draw, I was recounting a bad experience, bad bread. Had Jersey Mike's up here in Milwaukee the other day, it was outstanding. Nothing
Alright, good,
nothing but good stuff, and, just wanted to read that into the record for fair
good.
and balanced takes.
Speaking of beef and meats and stuff, there was a big operation down here in
Saw this.
it was a joint operation between the FBI's Jacksonville division and the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, which I think Volusia County is
Yeah, it's
just
like
south of
Daytona and
us.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw there's
It's like I
a
think it
big
goes Duval, St. John's, Flagler, Volusia, I think.
I think that's right.
But it was called Operation Mongolian Beef.
Yeah.
And, I guess there's this gang, the Mongols, they
Motorcycle
were
gang.
yeah, motorcycle gang, they're down in New they were riding through New Smyrna Beach, and there was a
Well,
big
I think it was Bike
shooting
Week,
down there
right?
during Bike Week,
Yeah.
yeah, and, but yeah, so Mongolian beef, so aptly named.
I was pretty tripped up on this one when you originally sent it over just 'cause, you hear the Mongols, like, motorcycle gang, and I just assumed that that was a gang of, like, Mongolian motorcycle riders, and I was like, "Man, that's" I lived in Jacksonville for a long time. I just didn't ever s that never crossed my mind that there was, like, a huge Mongolian population, but then you read the names of some of these guys, and I don't Christopher Allen Boyd, Chadwick Lee Price, um, Daniel Hernandez. I don't know that it was necessarily a Mongolian specific, uh, you know I don't know if that was a demographic name. I think they're just called the Mongols, maybe.
Yeah, speaking of Mongolia, I think United is flying a Fifth Freedom route from Tokyo to Ulaanbaatar,
What does Fifth
Mongolian
Freedom mean?
capital. Means it's a it's an airline route that travels between 2 countries where that carrier is not like, is not flagged in that nation. So, like, Singapore Airlines flies one from JFK to Frankfurt, for instance. They're not so the way that, like, airspace and air travel treaties work is, you have to have you have to be like Delta is a US carrier, a US flagged carrier. You have to be a flagged carrier, for one of those 2
Oh, I
things, or
see.
you have to get special government approval,
Sure.
uh, to fly something. So, like, Emirates has it on some routes or whatever, but that's why you don't see, like, Qatar Airways flying
I see.
Jax to, you know, Seattle
Right.
kinda
That
thing.
makes sense.
So,
Maybe a
um
chance to use your plus points.
exactly,
Just
exactly.
swing through Mongolia.
Yeah. Oh, do you see this guy had Carlos Abundez
Oh, this
is
sucks.
facing federal smuggling charges after, US Customs and Border Protection officers made the discovery of 14 toucans stashed in his Volkswagen dashboard.
It was a I've assumed it was like a Volkswagen bus or like something, but it was a Passat.
It was a Passat, yeah.
And he like sedated the toucans and stashed them in there and like a lot of broken legs and beaks and tails. Just a sick stuff going on to smuggle in these toucans, and then it sounds like they sell for a ton of dough. They're illegal to
Yeah.
import it in the United States. Just bad shit. Good. I'm glad he got got. Really,
Yeah, this
that's
was,
pretty cruel stuff, TC.
bad.
I stand violently, vociferously against the toucan smuggling.
Amen. Amen, Deej. That's brave of you. I appreciate that. What can you tell me about the MD Foodie Boys? What's going on in that?
Yeah, well, this is, something that got on my radar due to your last chop session, sparring partner, the D-man, Dave Ruff, was just always making sure I'm up on these MD Foodie Boys, the number 1 food podcast in Maryland. It's just I feel like we talked about it before, but it's just these high schoolers that, they just self-gloss themselves, the number 1 food podcast in Maryland, very funny turn
I
of
like the
phrase,
trap draw.
very similar to the trap draw, and it's like you expect it to be this culinary podcast, and it's always just like, "Yo, what like, when you guys go to Taco Bell, like, what do you get?" "Oh, crunchy? No, I always get soft tacos." And then, like, I've never actually listened to the podcast, but I just see all the Instagram clips that come in, and it's just that, it's like, "Alright, boys, what do you like on pizza?" There's all these psychoanalysis that goes on in the comments, of all their interpersonal dynamics from people who are laughing at it for kind of the same reason as I am. But now it's like, you get in with any of these influencers early, and you just get to see, like, the whole journey,
Yeah.
where it's like you start where it's like this small, pure, fun thing, and then the brands get involved, and then they get invited to all these events, and then it's
Are they sponsored?
oh, they're doing everything for everybody.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it started I think the first one, I remember them, like, going to an Orioles game and being like, "What's up? Well, we're trying some hot dogs. We got there's a crab cake for sale in right field," whatever. And now it's like, yeah, Taco Bell's a partner and all of these other, like, they've got all these guests coming in for the podcast, and so I sent through the other day, Lil Yachty, your boy, coming on the pod. I don't think it's dropped yet, but, keep
Wow.
an eye out for that. So, anyways, the MD Foodie Boys are one of them bleached their hair, which was a big
Is that
that was a
Chub
big
Perm?
Chub Perm, yeah, bleached his hair, which was a big deal. But just kinda, one of the things on my list that I'm keeping tabs on.
Okay.
It's getting less fun now that it's gotten much bigger, but, still, I also in case the MD Foodie Boys are listening, I like when they post, they all ball. They all hoop quite a bit, and
Okay.
so occasionally they'll drop these little mixtapes of them, play basketball of varying skill levels, and that is I'm for
Huh.
that. I stand for that, but some of the food stuff is getting a little less exciting.
Speaking of ball, I dropped Freddie and Gustav off at, all sports camp today, but they play a lot of basketball. It's hot this week. They're in the gym and uh, hey, I went to pick them up yesterday. I took them down to Dude Perfect last night, and I went to pick them up early from camp. They had like 300 kids playing a single game of dodgeball. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I walked into the gym and I
Battle
was
of the
like, "This."
Bulge.
I was like, "Can I play? This is awesome." And
Uh,
then I dropped Freddie off this morning, and Freddie's wearing he's wearing socks with Crocs in there.
that
I'm like,
sounds like something you
this is
would
like
do. You don't do that?
basketball. This is like, yeah, but I'm not going to camp. I'm not
Was
going to
he did
all
he have
sports
shoes?
camp.
Did he have shoes he was changing into, or
No,
oh, he's just
he's just.
Crocs, those are the
I'm
sport
like,
those are the shoes.
you're just gonna hoop in Crocs. He's like, yeah, just put him in sport
In
mode.
sport mode, speed mode.
Yeah.
Oh, huh. Hey,
So that
I
was
don't even think this made
aggressive.
the agenda. What was the Dude Perfect experience like?
Oh, the dudes. Oh, great to see the dudes. It was at the Kia Center down in Orlando.
Is that
Uh,
used to be the Amway Center, or is that a
it
different
used to be
building?
the Amway
Okay.
Center.
Right off
Yeah.
beautiful I-4.
Yeah, yeah, parking was easy, sold out. I mean, that's a
That's
18, twenty
no
thousand
joke.
seat
Yeah.
arena. I took Freddie up to see him in Savannah a couple years ago at a smaller arena, and, yeah, Chad, our friend hashtag Chad got us backstage, see the dudes,
Meet the dudes.
and yeah, meet the dudes, and,
Were their minds just blown?
oh, yeah, Freddie's like,
I
"That
mean,
was
I'm
all,"
trying to
like, well, yeah, he's done it before, and he was like, "Gustav, it's awesome," and then, like, Jacob deGrom was back there as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
Um,
Super Chef Bobby Flay. I'm
uh,
trying to think, like, how old is Gustav?
almost 5.
I'm trying to think when I was that age, like, who my equivalent of meeting Dude Perfect would be. Like, just someone that just exists as a concept inside my TV and, like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm high-fiving him right now. I have no idea who that would even be. The guy from Double
5
Dare, maybe?
5 or
Something like
6, maybe
that?
6 would be like Fred McGriff for
Yeah,
me, the
yeah.
crime dog,
I mean, I guess at that age, it's like Michael Jordan or something like
or
that, but
Deion Sanders.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Michael Jordan.
I mean, how did he handle it? Was he shy? Was he all about
Oh,
it?
he got super shy and, yeah, he, like, can't be serious for 2 seconds, um, and then he's really into long socks right now, like, he likes wearing long socks, like, up above his knees right now. It's really weird, and so we got him a couple pairs of those down
I
there, and,
saw those in the picture. I thought they were
uh
like Dude Perfect leggings or something.
yeah, yeah, and then, I mean, it was, it they put on a great show.
What
I
is
would encourage
okay.
anybody.
What is the
Yeah.
show? Is all I know about Dude Perfect is just, like, here we are, we're hucking a basketball down onto the football field and,
Yeah, I
like
mean, it's kinda they did that, like, they, like, go up to the upper deck, and they're throwing Nerf things and trying to make it into this basket and this, foam pit, below that's 200 feet below, like, they
but are they
certainly
just
did
trying
that.
that, like, hundreds of times until they make it?
No, I mean, they're so good at it, like, they just make it, like, within a couple times. They'll be on, like, bungee cords, and they're trying to make baskets, and I mean, they do different challenges and stuff, trying to throw the ball through a frisbee, like, just all sorts of stuff, and then it's very participatory with the audience and all of that as well, so,
Huh.
it's cool. What they've built is pretty remarkable,
Would
so
recommend, you're saying.
yeah, yeah, I would absolutely recommend.
How do
So,
you feel the Tron of 10 years ago would have felt of hearing you just absolutely glaze the Dude Perfect live show?
I don't think I've ever I don't think I would
That's
be
not a gotcha,
opposed to
I'm
it.
just curious.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, like, I think at its heart, it's like, get outside, play basketball, play football, they're crazy good athletes. I think that's the thing, and they do this they're going on their bus to Duluth, Georgia tonight, and they gotta show up there, like, my arm would get tired
For sure.
after throwing all that.
I've
So,
watched very few of their videos. One that came across just, like, in the YouTube recommendation was, the baseball one. Did I ever send you this?
no.
Where, who's the main guy? Ty, whatever?
Tyler's kinda yeah, like, he kinda leads the show.
The whole premise was, like, "Can I get a hit off an MLB pitcher?" Which is
Okay.
the constant just, like, who hasn't wondered what that would look like? And they
Yeah.
made this video that was like, "Alright, I'm gonna do it." I think it was Jose Leclerc when he was on the Rangers. They're like, I'm facing him at the end of this video, but before that, I gotta get a hit off of every other level of pitcher." And it was like, I'm starting with a high school pitcher, and obviously just rakes off that kid. Now, okay, I'm gonna get a hit off a college pitcher. Now I gotta get a hit off a AAA pitcher, and now I'm facing this, like, World Series closer. And, it was just like I'm like, "Man, that's like a perfect what a perfect internet video." It's just I
Yeah.
was hooked the entire time. I was a little sheepish about watching it, and I mentioned it, kinda offhand, and Solly's like, "Oh my god, I watched that video too, it's so sick." I feel like both of us kinda had the hidden guilty pleasure of tuning to that one,
Yeah.
but would recommend. Anyway,
Yeah, no, it was a good show. We stopped at Buc-ee's on the way home or on the
oh,
way
yeah,
down there. Always a good stop, the one in Daytona there. And, yeah, and then we ripped it home, no traffic. It was delightful.
I
So,
love it.
what else we got going? Let's thank Whoop, because I'm feeling like I got a pretty poor recovery this morning. I didn't sleep great last night. I was still amped from the dude's show. But Whoop, official fitness wearable of the PGA and LPGA Tour. The all new Whoop is here, only wearable that turns your health and fitness data into personalized guidance. Now 7% smaller, and the battery lasts 14 plus days. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane how long it lasts. Like you almost forget that you have to charge it. Like you could go on a 10-day trip somewhere and not charge it. It's crazy.
That's a massive, massive advantage.
They've got powerful new features like Health Span, which shows how your daily habits impact your pace of aging. My daily habits of the Johnny Pops probably not
I
great for my pace of aging right
I would
now.
love to gather some data, maybe a kinda week on, week off, Johnny Pops versus not, see if that's affecting your health span, TC.
What do you got going on? I mean, you still how's the Chuckster sleeping?
He's
He
been great.
affecting your
No, he's been awesome. We're very lucky. We're getting up early. He gets up at, between 5:30 and 6 usually around 6, but I mean, he goes down at 7:15 pretty reliably. So, obviously no complaints whatsoever, about that. So I got I'm going to bed a lot earlier. Solly's talked about this in a lot of these
oh,
reads as well, but one thing I love, I hate push notifications from apps on my phone. I
yeah.
feel like I'm getting inundated, like, with just bad stuff from, like, Uber out of nowhere, just, like, you hate when your
I
phone
have
buzzes at
all
all, but
push
I
notifications turned
try, but
off
then I
for the most
forget
part.
some. The
Yeah.
Whoop one is the exception to the rule, where I love where I'm sitting around in the evening and the Whoop just like, "Hey, it's probably time to wind down," is always helpful based on your sleep, based on your recovery, based on your strain today, it's probably time to start
Yeah.
headed that way, and it's just I really, really, enjoy that, and it's helped me, like, help me stay honest a little bit on, "Hey, you could watch another 2 episodes of The Simpsons, or you could, like, maybe get to bed 40 minutes earlier. What do you think is a better choice for how you're gonna feel tomorrow?" You know? And so the Whoop is, it's just good positive reinforcement in that way.
I think I might be going to bed too early
That's interesting.
sometimes and, like, and getting too much sleep and not getting enough quality sleep. I know you guys are probably you and Solly are like, "What? Go to
No,
hell, man." But
I can see it. I like, there's been times in my life where I feel in that same way, where it's like
the
you
ultimate
feel a little
luxury.
lethargic, you know? Just
Yeah.
can't really
And I
turn the
just
engine
yeah.
over the next day.
It could also be because I'm eating too many Johnny Pops, my sugar's
Yeah,
spiking
we
in my
might need to try
bed.
to isolate the variables on some of this.
So, anyway, go to join.whoop.com/NLU to get a free month on us and start optimizing your life both on and off the golf course. Deej, we gotta chime in on it. It's the thing everybody's
It's the
talking
news of
about
the
right
day.
now.
I know.
The CEO and the chief people officer at Astronomer getting got by the jumbotron at the Coldplay show, and then getting laughed at by your guy Chris Martin. I know you're a big Coldplay guy.
You know what's crazy is I actually totally out of nowhere went back and listened to the first couple Coldplay albums the other day. Total way before this. I was front running this Coldplay news, and, man, I hate to say it, they're so fucking good. They're so good. I see how it all happened. I don't really like any of the stuff after that necessarily, but man, it's kinda hard
Where
to.
did it go off the tracks?
Well, I think they're the first 2. I hope I'm right about that, but the Parachutes, the first one is just truly bangers only, and then,
Yeah.
Rush Blood to the Head was the one I think that everybody kinda just glommed onto, but there was a couple tracks on that one that I'm just like, "Wow, talk about just a time and place," just snapping right back to kinda high school, and, I don't know, it's weird that this happened because I had a very recent Coldplay renaissance, I feel like, but yeah, really good video. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, but would recommend seeking that out. Just a couple people having a nice time at a concert and then suddenly realizing they don't really love people seeing what they're seeing. I don't know. I haven't really followed up too much on who these people are, but it's just it's a fun little just a fun little moment to relive a couple times on the social media timeline.
Yeah, yeah, obviously feel bad for the guy's kids, his wife, probably soon to be ex-wife, but hey, at least at this point, she can avoid some of the he said, she said, and it's like, "No, it's just right there." Like,
It's pretty visceral.
I think we have a smoking gun.
Yeah.
So, I had a couple other things on here. There was a New York Times article about this wild Russian plot to burn a London restaurant and kidnap the owner.
Yeah.
Um, the
Pretty serious stuff here.
Yeah, it's a Michelin-starred restaurant called Hyde, in Mayfair,
I was,
kinda
a couple of things that stuck out to me, on this one. One, the New York Times glossing them, quote, "small time criminals," I felt like was, I don't know if that's editorializing or if that's spiking the football on these guys, but, this whole story just it seemed like they were small time criminals, kinda got, like, linked up with, a couple people pulling the strings and then started getting some, like, "Hey, it'd be really nice if you took this place out. It'd be really nice if you set this place on fire. It'd be really nice if you took," made this guy's life a little rougher. It reminded me a lot of, the movie Four Lions, which we've
yeah.
shouted out on the Oscars pod a lot of times. Our guy Big T's a big fan. Riz Ahmed, I believe, was written by Jesse Armstrong, the Succession guy. And it's just about these, like, small time, like, Islamic dudes who, like, fancy themselves these very serious jihadists, and it's just, like, a very farcical movie about them trying to pull off these, like, big, like, horrible terrorist acts, but they're just so incompetent that they can't do it, and they can't pull it off. Very wild movie, totally one of a kind movie, but that's what I thought about reading some of the communiques between these dudes and their Russian, kind of string pullers.
Will you make me a list, like, just 5 movies
Sure.
that I should
Oh,
that
nothing
like,
would make
they
me
don't have to
happier.
be, crazy movies or Oscar winners or anything like that. 5 kind of very unique, like, personalized movies for me to watch that you
How
think I in particular would get a kick out of?
okay, let me have a couple clarifying questions. What is there any North Star I can base this off? Something you've really liked, something that you greatly enjoy? Like, help narrow the field for me a little bit.
I mean, I've only watched like 2 or 3 movies in the last couple of years. One of
Dream
them was Dream
scenario? Yeah, we
Scenario.
nailed that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
that's
a
a
North
cart.
Star right there.
That's a guiding light.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
I love a good drama too, just like an old school kind of
Cops and
like
robbers, procedural
yeah, or
type
like,
stuff?
like The Bone Collector with,
Okay.
like a thriller or, what was the one? Switchback with Danny Glover and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, these are very specific
Yeah,
specific feelings. I like it. Okay.
yeah. What was the one with Ashley Judd?
Double
Double
Jeopardy,
Jeopardy?
of course.
Shit like that,
Classic.
I
Okay.
just like I wanna be thrilled. They don't make them like that
You're
anymore.
gonna be thrilled and delighted.
Yeah, but also, I like to think during a movie, action, fine. Obviously, I'm a Nick Cage aficionado, love Leaving Las Vegas, things of that
Yeah,
nature.
so there's gotta be some humanity. Gotta be some humanity
Yeah,
to it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna put together a list. Maybe I'll
Okay,
take to social media and publish that list.
okay.
But I think that nothing would make me happier. 4
Speaking
I'll tell
of,
you what, 4 Lions is gonna be
yeah,
on the list. I think that's a movie
okay,
you'd absolutely love.
okay, cool. Speaking of incompetent terrorists, do you ever see the movie McHale's Navy?
Yeah, yeah, very
Neil and I
long
used
time
to
ago.
love that movie.
Alright, I'll put that on the list as well as we're training the AI here for what we're trying to find.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't that come out at the same time as Down Periscope, I think?
Yeah,
I think that's like a,
it's like Kurt
Armageddon, Deep
Russell,
Impact.
Captain Ron.
Yeah, I always love when 2 wildly similar movies kinda come out at the same time. It's always a fun phenomenon.
Did you see this healthy junk food
This
lady
sucked too. This
taking
is like the toucan news.
yeah, she was taking a bunch of to-go food, brought her own to-go containers to the
Ugh.
Amex lounge. Just,
I
like, some of the most disgusting behavior I've ever seen. But,
awful.
this is why we can't have nice things.
Documenting the whole thing, publishing it as if it's something to be
Bragging about it. Yeah.
celebrated. And I listen, I know this is not my block. The travel stuff is not I'm not as well versed in this as you, and I know there are greater atrocities being endured by mankind, certainly. But I tried to go to the Amex Lounge in God,
It's
where I don't even
overrun.
remember where I was. New York. I was in New York. I was coming back from
LaGuardia?
yes. I was coming back from a trip with Neil and my
Or
flight
there's wait, JFK
or
or
maybe it was
LaGuardia?
JFK. I honestly
I
don't
was gonna
remember.
say,
I
I
was
don't I
pretty
think
woozy.
the Delta Lounge is a banger at LaGuardia, and then
I was
the
flying
Amex Lounge
United
is at
though, so I
JFK.
think that was the
Okay.
problem. But I think I was at JFK actually now that I say that.
Yeah.
My flight was supposed to be like 6:30 PM. It ended up being like 12:15 AM or something like that. Just awful delay. Happens. What are you gonna do? So I was like, "Oh, this won't be that big a deal. Like, I'll kill some time in the lounge." It was
Well, it
like
couldn't
that
have been JFK if you were flying United.
I don't know.
You don't
Maybe
fly
it
on
was
United
LaGuardia
anymore.
then. I
Okay,
honestly I think it was LaGuardia. I was
okay,
very foggy at the end of a long shooting trip. I think it was LaGuardia. But
okay.
I walked in, first of all, of course, it's a wait list to get in there. You gotta do all kinds
Gotta
of
fluff the
QR
bouncer.
codes and yeah, I mean, it's just that's a whole other thing. You finally get in and it's like that fucking 300 kid dodgeball game in there. Like just sheer chaos, man. Just
It's more
awful,
relaxing
awful.
out in the terminal.
Yes, that's literally I was in there, I finally found a seat after I probably took 10 laps around, like full laps, just like looking for one spot to sit. And borderline was almost just like about to ask people who had, were sitting solo at a two-person table, like, "Yo, I'm quiet. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do anything other than just like type on my laptop. Can I sit in this chair?" That's where we almost came to. Finally got a table after my 10th lap of walking around. I was in there for 10 minutes, just people screaming, people on cell phones, people like kids running around, dogs, service
Ugh,
animals in
ugh,
there. Just no chance to even like get a drink. It would take 20 minutes to go even like wait in line at the bar. I was like, this sucks, man. I
ugh.
literally left and was like, I'm gonna go just find a quiet spot in the terminal. I just went out and like laid on the floor and watch Jaws on my laptop, and it was much better idea than staying in there. So
LaGuardia has some of those, like, kinda recliner
that's where I
chairs
was.
out in
Yeah,
the yeah,
that's where I
yeah.
was. Yeah, so it was, I don't know. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, TC, but the lounge stuff
Yeah,
is just completely jumped the
yeah,
shark at this point.
yeah. It's
It's just
broken contain.
it's not enjoyable.
Uh, Tough couple weeks for the airlines. I think, our trap draw correspondent, our YSL correspondent, Magic Jeff, he got done dirty by Delta on the way over to Ireland. He was going on big family vacation with his parents and siblings, and he got stuck in New York for the night. And Delta just did him wrong. They missed a day at a Dare Manor
Mm,
because of it.
hate that.
He's a big foodie, and then, United had a tough night at Newark last week, big flooding, um, hated it, but, it was kinda one of those cataclysmic flooding events, I think, up
Is
there,
there
like 8 inches.
is there still, like, 2 people, directing flights in and out of Newark, or have they
I
beefed that
think
up?
that's kind of no, I think that's actually there's, like, 2 people directing flights out of Austin now. Wind Talker sent me something from Nashville. Nashville's now in dire straits as far as their thing, so, I have an invite to go up to the air traffic control center here north of Jacksonville in Hilliard.
I think that'd be
Uh,
helpful. Get
yeah,
eyes on, just get eyes on that and see what needs to be done.
yeah,
That can
yeah. It
only
does
can
seem
only
like
help.
we've shouted it from the rooftops enough to where, like, "Hey, this is a massive issue," and there seems to be pretty widespread bipartisan support on fixing it. Now, they're also saying, "All right, if the Australians are gonna steal our air traffic controllers, we can steal other nations' air traffic controllers."
Mm.
People are freaking out about that because they don't want them to have access to, super sensitive stuff. They think it's a national security concern. So, anyway, couple sports nuggets. The Bucks, your Bucks,
Yeah.
leaving and stretching Dame.
I
What say you?
I I would be disingenuous if I pretend like I knew what that meant. Basketball used to be very simple to me. There were guys who played for certain teams, and then occasionally they got traded to other teams. I have not kept up with the NBA in the last
So you're not big on the first
15
apron and
years.
the second
I
apron?
have absolutely no idea what any of this means. I wish everybody the best, and it seems like people are really into it and really getting a lot out of it. I can't pretend to be one of those people. I
Yeah.
wish I wish
Big
Los Bucks the best. Doesn't seem like they're in a great spot right now. I don't know if anything's has anything happened with Giannis. Is that
Is he
still?
a malcontent?
I don't
Is he
know.
turning into a malcontent?
Can't tell. Can't tell. I listen. I watched. Did you watch that documentary, the Giannis documentary?
I did.
It's good,
I did. I
right?
watched it on United Flight,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, it was very good.
Really good. I know I've watched that and I've watched him play a handful of times. What an experience. Would recommend that to anybody. A
Yeah,
true freak of nature, just like man among boys. When you watch him out on the floor, outside of that, I don't have a lot of expertise on Los Bucks. I'm sorry.
okay.
Do you
Basically,
do
they
you have
waived
any
him.
sense of what's going on?
Well,
Is this a good thing, bad thing?
they stretched the dead cap hit over 5 years or 4 or 5 years. So they basically have a $20 million dead cap hit for the next 5 years.
Okay,
Instead of just being capped out now, they can push that into the future. So it's similar to kinda the NFL salary cap works because there's all these like, it'll get them under the luxury tax and all of that stuff as well. So they're not quite as boned as, say, the Suns are. Like, the Suns, like, don't own any of their own first round picks for the next, like, 6 years, and they're in salary cap hell. Uh, so they're not far off. Um,
that's
so
tough. That's
yeah.
tough. Well, listen,
Wanted
very
to yeah,
selfishly, I hope the honest thing works out because it's much
yeah.
it's fun to have someone like that in a, small market, but
Do you
who
think he
knows?
finished his career in Milwaukee?
I sure. Again, I don't have a
Okay,
lot of expertise, but I
okay,
mean, God, he seems like he genuinely, you hear him around like at events and you hear him in the media and you see him again. Like it seems like he really, truly, genuinely does like it,
he seems like a
and
great guy.
he
Yeah,
seems
and he
like a
seems
great
like
guy. Seems
Milwaukee's
like his
home.
family's here,
Yeah,
happy. They seem to really enjoy it. So I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. So
okay.
I'll say wishful thinking. Yes.
Does he have a restaurant too?
He's like a part owner, I believe, of this place, Ovley in,
Okay,
it's kinda like what is that, River West area? It's awesome. Really, really good stuff. Just
okay,
all kinds of dips, all kinds of different chicken and lamb, and just it's
yeah,
really, 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 really good.
okay.
One of my favorite spots.
I wanted to congratulate Saleh on the signing of, or the I'm not sure if it's a verbal commitment or if he signed a letter of intent or whatever, but Sir Paul, quote, "Jesus in cleats Cheeks." So
Hmm.
Sir Paul Cheeks is committed to West Virginia, three-star running back prospect. Um,
That's a big name, big claim
yeah,
there. Sir Paul, all one word.
yeah, Sir Paul, all one word.
Sir Paul's a sick
There
name, actually.
yeah. There's a couple guys, that went to I think one of them ended up going to Michigan. They were at Coleraine when I was going to Miami. Mr. Simpson and Sir Simpson, they were brothers. And the mom said she just wanted her kids to be respected.
I like it.
So,
Well, set him up for
yeah.
success.
Any MLB draft react? I watched that the other night. It
Well, yeah,
was
I feel like I need to ask you. That's another one that I like getting into spring training, and once things progress a little bit more, I like getting into it. I don't follow the draft super duper closely. I know Wolfie was very excited about Steele Hall,
yeah,
going to the Reds. It sounds like the Brewers got a pretty good one out of Tennessee. This Andrew Fisher, a little bit of an
sounds like
alpha from New
sounds like
Jersey.
everybody got one out of Tennessee.
Yeah, a lot of Tennesseans going,
Yeah,
or University of Tennessee, I should say.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just some good names. Ike Irish,
That
for
guy sounds like he's a massive racist though,
I
allegedly.
d I don't know about that. I hadn't, was
And he
more
went to
looking
the
at
Orioles, which it
his
totally makes
profile.
sense, right?
Which, them drafting a catcher in the 1st round, what does that mean? Is Adley Rutschman available? Is he on the move? Who knows?
Big Big Sam Basallo there
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Um, who did, I thought, my Padres got a guy with a great name. Who was it? Cruz Schoolcraft,
Yeah.
Kruz Schoolcraft. Really, really enjoy that 6'8" pitcher, out of Oregon, I believe. Uh, what about you? Anything else? What are your Marlins doing? Anything good?
My Marlins, I think they got the best prospect of the whole draft.
Is that
The
right?
Hawaiian. Yeah, this Toolsy Hawaiian.
Iva Arquette,
Just
shortstop,
mega traits.
high
All the
level
traits.
traits. I love it.
So,
Ethan Holiday going in the 1st round is fun, you
I
know?
still don't quite I think everybody should just draft best available. This whole slot value thing and not drafting the best guy in the 1st round because you're trying to save money for a above slot guy to I guess they have to bribe these kids not to go to college. Uh, just it's a whole thing.
I know.
So,
For someone who really likes baseball a lot, the kinda underbelly of baseball is, I don't know, you gotta be careful sticking your head in
yeah.
there. It can get a little unfun when you start getting into some of this scout stuff.
But I do think I'm nearing becoming Marlins man 2.0.
I think you need
Diet
to. I
Marlins
feel like
man.
that's written in the stars, man. I feel like
Yeah,
that's such a good fit for you. Maybe go down to
yeah,
one series a year or something. Can you take the
yeah.
train down there? Does the train get you all the way down there from Jack's?
I don't think so. You would have to drive down and then do, like, Brightline or something
Yeah.
like that. So,
I'm just trying to think of how you can avoid that drive and avoid the airport.
the drive is not that bad.
Yeah.
There's a direct flight, but, yeah.
The
So,
stadium looks cool. I've never been to the stadium, but the stadium, Lone Depot
yeah,
looks cool with the
stadium
cool
looks cool, and
retractable roof.
we've got the Marlins AAA team here in Jax,
Yeah,
the Jumbo Shrimp.
that's right.
I got
Formerly the Suns.
Freddie throwing out the first pitch here,
Yeah, any movement on
sometime
that?
next month. No, I gotta get that scheduled.
Is he gonna wear his Crocs?
I'm not gonna let him wear his Crocs to that. So, we got, actually FanDuel MLB thing here. Trap Draw is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, Wednesday's ball games just got more exciting thanks to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because every hump day, FanDuel is giving all customers the chance to win or to score an even bigger payout with a 30% profit boost to use on any parlay wager. You can use your profit boost when you build your own same game parlay or choose one already made for you in the parlay hub.
That's
I
interesting,
might,
especially on a
yeah,
Wednesday, some of those you catch getaway day, maybe somebody's sitting, there could be some
yeah.
value on those hump day plays.
Yeah, if my guy Yuri Perez is pitching, I gotta bet on the Marlins. If my guy Big Sandy is pitching, I probably gotta bet against the Marlins.
Yeah, Big Sandy
Uh,
hasn't he needs to get right.
yeah, he could be a great same game parlay. Uh, candidate there to short him. So just visit fanduel.com/NLU to get in on the action for this coming Wednesday. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Minimum three-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Well done.
Rocked 'em.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Deej, let's just talk some life.
Sure.
Life lately. What's been going on with you?
Yeah, a lot of, it's been a lot of being at home, which has been awesome. We've been doing some of these more, concentrated travel episodes, on the video front, and so I think that's led to just a little more focus on, like, what we have to travel for, and, that's led to more being at home, which is good timing, having a 10-month-old and being able to be here and helping out and, enjoying the summer up here in Milwaukee. It's been a little toasty, which is, understandable for this time of year, but, it's been good to be around, mowing the grass and helping with bedtime every night and, like, just doing it's been a lot of that stuff, which has been
Nice.
awesome. That makes for a truly just, like, great summer, the weather's good, there's a lot of baseball to watch, it's a lot of golf to play, finally getting to kind of be here and playing some golf, not really playing any good golf, but, it's been a really great summer in that regard.
Good. I think how's your grass?
Grass looks really good. Thank you for
Okay.
asking. This is not an ad, but I would shout out, Justine and I were trying to figure out because Justine's got kind of a green thumb, she likes
Does.
solving problems, figuring out what's going on with what's our garden plan, what's our flower plan, our indoor plants plan, and so grass was just not looking great coming out of winter. It was a shitty spring anyways, and
Sparse.
yeah, just a little thin, a little patchy, just not really
Kinda like
great.
Zach Johnson's hair
Yeah, exactly.
circa
Exactly.
2016, 2017.
Yeah, a little wispy, and so we need to kinda get our arms around that. She's like, "I'm gonna dig into it, figure out what to do." Because I get so overwhelmed going to, Home Depot or Ace or, whatever. They sell 700,000 different types of
Yeah.
fertilizer and grass turf feeder and all of, like, weed killer and all of these different things, and I'm just like, "Man, I need someone to help me with, like, a program." I don't really have time to totally research what
Mhm.
to and I also, like, don't wanna mess up, put the wrong thing down, and then I'm back at square one, so trying to figure out what to do, trying to come up with a program. This is a free ad. Apologies, no free ads, but,
We're doing a lot of free ads today. I
just
mean,
Justine came across, Sunday Lawn Care, and the whole idea is, like, you send in a soil sample, which I know you were getting a big kick out of, sending in a sample, and you tell them where your region is, what your hardiness zone is, all of that stuff, and they say, like, "Alright, well, based on your current situation, we're gonna dial up a program for you," and you just kinda get stuff by the mail, and so it's been, like, that's been super helpful to just know, like, "Hey, on this day in May, you put down this weed killer and this fertilizer. In June, we're gonna hit it with another bit of, another little nitrogen booster. Here's a little dandelion doom to kill the
wow.
weeds midsummer." And so it's been great. And the lawn, I will say, looks just fantastic. As a result, got the sprinklers dialed, got my watering program all set. It's pretty good, and it's pretty satisfying to
Pretty
see it.
substantial.
It's
Pretty
pretty substantial, pretty solid, pretty
I,
solid.
man, I feel like when your irrigation, when your sprinkler system is humming, when it's optimized,
I mean, it's
you
it's that's
kinda
it.
feel like you got your shit together in life,
Totally,
right?
totally, and it's also one of those things that, like, I'm just constantly waiting for it to go
Like
wrong.
knife's edge. Yeah,
Yeah, I always turn it off when we leave, if we leave for more than a day, it's just like, "God, this thing's gonna one of these things is gonna pop, and we're just gonna
yeah.
water the whole neighborhood," but it's like, no complaints. It's been good. I've had a couple patches to fix,
Uh-huh.
this spring, spots where, like, either things got nicked with a shovel or, who knows? The things just wear out, but had to, it seems to be running pretty good right now.
Good. Yeah, I had one spot, um, you know, I'm big into my podocarpus in the back, and turns out one of them was getting overwatered, which was that's the worst thing that can happen. It would be better off not watering it at all. So we ended up putting a new hose in, a little drip irrigation in there, and it's been so I had to replace one. That one's doing well now, and the rest of them are just absolutely thriving. And I feel like they're my 3rd kid. It's just it's such a like a level of pride there. And then, I'm not averse to hand watering too.
Of
I like
course.
hand watering sometimes when I'm home.
Syringing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
I love it. What's
exactly.
been going on with you? Anything else kinda on the home front?
Our lime tree is just absolutely popping off. We've probably gotten 40 limes from it already this year and
Jeez.
another at least 40 or 50 to go.
I mean, it's just
Um,
an I gotta think you're dealing with just an ungodly surplus, and,
yeah,
it's
but
I would be stressed out about what to do with all these limes.
no, it's great. I made this Brazilian limonada the other day
Mm,
that, you put, like, the whole limes in the blender and then you strain it, with I
that's cool.
then I mixed that with some rum. That was
Yeah.
delightful. It was like a little frozen drink. What else have I done with them? I made ceviche and
That's a good one.
like aguachile, and then made
Yeah.
like a snapper ceviche, because it was snapper season. We have a one-day snapper season a year here down in
Really?
Jax. Yeah, one day. The feds, man, they just
Yeah, I suppose.
you can fish for snapper, for red snapper as much as you want over on the Gulf Coast. Like, they have long season. You get one day here. It's crazy.
Whoa.
So, had some friends that went
I
out
mean,
and
yeah,
caught.
that feels like such an event.
Yeah, exactly. It was I think it was last Friday. Um, I saw Billy Horschel was out doing it. He caught, and then you get you get 1 red snapper for each person on your boat. So I had a buddy that went out and caught, he had 6 people on the boat, and then they caught a bunch of, mango snapper as well. So he gave me one of his reds. But it's funny because, like, when you go down there, when you put a camera down there, all you see are red snapper. Like, you just keep catching them, and you have to keep throwing them back and all that. So, they're overpopulated.
Yeah.
Um, but, what else? I think otherwise, what else I've been making? You know what I'm really big into right now? Olives.
Ooh, have to
Calvastrano,
agree to disagree on that one.
hit it. I've never been a big olives guy. I've liked a good, what's the black ones? Or the Kalamata olives. I like
Kalamata?
those on a salad, like a Greek salad. But otherwise, I don't like olives on my pizza. But a pitted Calvastrano olive, I love them, and I get, it's a nice treat. I get it probably once a week. I just get a little tin of them, and, I've kind of realized, like, I love dirty martinis, but I think the reason I love dirty martinis is because I love those
Mm.
olives. It's not so much about the martini, and so I'm like, "Why don't I just skip the martini part and just eat the olives?"
Similar, to Justine, massive Dirty Martini fan, but and massive olive fan, and I don't know which, if the tail's wagging the dog on that one or not, but, yeah, it's just one of those flavors that just doesn't I fully support you, I can't get there, it doesn't jive with me at all.
Yeah, they had actually, I gotta shout out that place, 14 Prime, the place that sent the
Is
email.
that the place that had the whole, like, instruction manual before you
Trust
got
it.
there?
Trust
Trust
it,
it.
dude.
Did was it good?
The food was good, the service was not good. The sides were probably, I mean, they had a really good Kansas City strip. Sides were probably, I don't know, they just hadn't totally fine-tuned their concept. It was also so fucking expensive. I can't emphasize how expensive it was
Yeah, it's
for.
kinda hard to have a good time with that swimming
Yeah,
around in the back of your mind.
yeah. So, but no, food was good. It's a good addition to the Jack's dining scene, but a little full of themselves. It's the same guy that
Tr
owns V Pizza.
trust it. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So, what else? That's really it. Otherwise, just been playing some golf with Freddie and, Gustav, and he and Gustav have just been beating the hell out of each other just every day. They just beat the hell out of each other every 5 minutes. It's just they can't keep their hands off one another.
Does Goose keep up okay?
Yeah, oh yeah, he like Freddie probably whines more than Goosey about getting hurt. So, like,
Gosh.
Goose is a bad guy. So, what else? You know what I was thinking about last week? The fall of Wendy's. Just,
Really?
somebody
Yeah,
I saw it on social, somebody did
yeah, you sent
something.
this through. I thought it was a pretty eloquent takedown. I forget apologies, I forget which podcast it came from, but they're kinda talking about the heyday and, the baked potato, the salad bar, all the glorious highs of Wendy's, past, and you know what? We were actually that trip I was talking about coming home from, we stopped, we kind of, like we're at a shoot all day, and we didn't have time to eat dinner until 8 o'clock or something, and we're on the road, and we're looking for something to stop, and just like, I don't know, Wendy's at the next exit, let's try it. Just awful. Bad
Ugh,
experience, impersonal, you don't get to talk to a human being, you gotta enter all your, enter your order on a screen, which is always, like,
it's
pretty
awful.
bleak, and just fries stink, burgers stink. It just the whole thing was bad, really, really bad situation, which is a bummer because I was always wildly pro Wendy's.
Yeah, I think just going back to Wendy's when we were growing up, it was the gold standard, right? And then
Yeah,
you could go in and they had the little sunroom area with the
I
salad
know.
bar or the pasta bar or the, the baked potato bar. You
Yeah,
get
I would
chili
be
there, you get a little salad.
I would be curious to hear, in the interest of again balance, just like if anyone's having positive Wendy's experiences these days. This feels pretty universal. It feels like a marked decline, which is a bummer.
What a black eye for the city of Dublin, Ohio.
Is that where they're based out of?
Yeah, Dave Thomas, man, he was a huge that was like the pride of Columbus, the pride of Dublin. Um,
Hard to pass those things down generationally, man. I don't know. It just doesn't usually go well, I feel like.
yeah, yeah, I hate that. Any good fast food experiences lately?
Hmm. Good question. I shouted out Jersey Mike's, which is, kind of fast food adjacent. I've been eating Panera a lot.
'Kay.
Uh,
Alex and the
just
kids love Panera. I think it's, like, as mid as can be.
it's fine, it's kinda one of those, like, you trick yourself into thinking you're eating a little better than you are, like, I still don't think it's good for you, I'm eating a lot of just mac and cheese and bread and things that are probably gonna linger for a while, but, I like that. I'm
Where
trying
do
to
you
think
fall
what
out on Cava?
I don't think I've ever been to a Cava, but it sounds like it
Oh,
would be absolutely in my wheelhouse. Kinda
yeah,
Mediterranean, right? A lot of,
yeah,
uh, like, almost like souvlaki type stuff. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
you can get I get rice, I get basmati rice with arugula mixture, and then I normally get, like, their lamb meatballs on top of it, then just a bunch of, you know, uh, feta cheese and olives and, what else? Um, a bunch of tomatoes, cucumbers, that sort of thing.
yeah. I mean,
So,
despite my anti-olive, stance, I mean, the Mediterranean food, I can't
yeah.
can't get enough of. That sounds like it would absolutely be my thing. I don't know if we have one here.
Maybe because Giannis's place is just doing such a good job.
It's possible. It's more of a sit down experience, but, yeah, I don't think we have I gotta seek that out. I don't wanna misspeak, but let's see if we have any up here,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I mean, the
trying to think
portion sizes can get a little, our friend Henry Shimp, he complains a lot about their portion sizes, but,
mm,
they I don't know. I don't leave unfulfilled there. There's actually a really good local spot called, Cedar and Olive here in
mm,
Jack's Beach that just opened up, kind of right over by Taco Lou. Delightful
sure.
spot, Lebanese food, but they got just awesome kebabs and baba ganoush and all that stuff.
Put it on my list for next
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I
Deej, you been using AI a lot? It's been a talking point amongst the crew.
Great transition. TC, God, I don't even know where to
You
start.
look stressed. You look stressed about even the concept of it.
I am stressed about the concept, and I'll try to just kinda word vomit a little bit why. Again, heard you and the D man talking a little AI.
Yeah.
on the chop session. I think it kind of just got my wheels turning a little bit. And I will say a couple things up front here. Could not be less of an expert. Haven't read very much, don't know very much, don't have a great sense of which company's which, who's doing what, who stands for what, etc. And the reason I say all that is like I feel like I'm a pretty uh average, just a pretty average person in this situation.
Yeah.
And uh I feel like the average person is just getting absolutely waterboarded with AI this, AI that, and hasn't probably had a great grasp of exactly what we're talking about and what it means. I think there's a lot of the like large language stuff help a business solve this, come up with a solution for this problem that like
Mhm.
you can kind of conceptualize. But I think in just like everyday life, there's probably been a lot of people of just like, what the fuck are we talking about? And what should I is this something I should be using, not using, doing, not doing? And I feel like it's become such a like weaponized, like uh, somewhat toxic
So
sort of
it's so
conver
detached from the actual
yes.
use cases, right?
And I think there's reasons for that that are very admirable and very like very valid that I don't want to swat away at all. I think the fact that it basically just ate the entire internet and took all kinds of copyrighted material in order to then just like regurgitate it back in a way that gives nobody credit and nobody financial upside for any of the stuff that like trained it is awful and abhorrent and like a truly like despicable thing. I think all the like fake news stuff and image generation and video generate like I see zero upside on any of that.
Except
I
for the
feel like
Team Rose.
yeah, except for just a pure ironic comedy standpoint, I see that feels like it can do nothing but just accelerate the decline of humanity. There's a bunch of other things. Even all the environmental stuff is all very valid, and there's all this like unbelievable downside that I think like stops a lot of people when it's just like, what do you think of AI? Just being like, it's bad, and I understand where all those people are coming from, but I'm also not like a technophobe type of person. Like I like to know what's going on, and I like to kind of use tools that are helpful and so I think from that perspective, I'm just like, well, I feel like I need to dive in at least a little just to understand what the hell is going on. And I think the more you dive in, the more you realize, like, this makes me sound extremely old, but just like how fast all of this stuff has already moved, how big of a, like, I don't know. I just haven't had a real job in a very long time,
Mhm.
as people who listen to this podcast know, because this is my job and you've heard me on podcasts for a long time. But I think I've just been very woefully ignorant of how big of a part of people's day-to-day life this already is, and I feel totally ill-equipped to integrate it into my life, but I also see a bunch of upside in, like, where it can help and where it can help me, like, figure out how to fucking figure out my lawn problems
Yeah.
and figure out how to, make my budget more efficient and figure out how to like do all of these things. And so what I'm saying, I know this is a big ramble, is just like it's kind of all I can think about, and I feel pretty paralyzed by just the whole entire uh the whole entire topic and almost feel like I kind of can't get off the starting blocks. Does any of that resonate with you? How are you feeling?
It does. I think, I've found myself having to just say, "All right, how do I curate it within my own life? Or how do I find specific use cases?" Because I think the worst thing you can do is just you let it lead you blindly or use
Totally.
it blindly and then not have that human element. Like, I think used correctly, it empowers you to accomplish or produce a heck of a lot more than you would have been able to otherwise. But there's going to be mistakes baked in, and they're going to be drastically bad, negative mistakes that you're going to get something crucial wrong, or it's going to lack personality or whatever. So kind of vehemently against it as far as just, you know, certain writing or certain stuff that, like, it's just defeating the purpose of doing that thing in the first place, right? But I do think there's efficiencies to be had with, like, you know, if it allows me more time to do that stuff. Like, it would be really interesting if I just plugged it in and said, like, "Hey, I host the Trap Draw podcast. Will you find 15 news articles
Totally.
that fit what we've talked about in the last 18 months?" Right?
Yeah.
Like, that would be a fascinating example or test for it. I talked to the D man about the Nebraska thing. Like, I plugged, like, I've been working on this itinerary for months, and I plugged it in and, like, spit out the exact same stuff. But now, granted, some of that could be like, I know at Gemini, like, it's probably looking at all of our internal docs
Yeah.
as well and making a judgment based upon a lot of institutional knowledge there and stuff that's already on paper and preferences and kind of, there's some context there. Um, but overall, it's and I think the other fear I have too is, like, are you gonna have to commit to one? Like, you guys just told me about this gentleman, Claude. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with your friend Claude. Uh, I was just thinking, all right, there's the Meta AI, there's the Gemini, there's ChatGPT. Um, but then, I'd always heard of
Claude comes out of
Anthropic, but I'd
nowhere.
never heard of Claude. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's I agree with everything you're saying there, and it's kind of the thing that I think is tripping me up. Well, maybe not the most. There's a lot of stuff tripping me up, as I was kind of saying in my preamble, but the whole blind trust thing is a tough one because I feel like I can see 2 things where it's like you start using these tools like what you just described for the trap draw, and you start, coming up with ways that they are legitimately very useful to day-to-day life and seemingly not very problematic to what you're doing and just kind of making you a little bit more
Yep.
efficient and being able to search and compile information faster and in an easier way. And like, that makes it feel pretty inevitable that, like, okay, this is just the thing that is gonna be the same way an internet browser is a part of people's everyday life, like, this is gonna be a part of people's everyday life eventually. And what feels equally inevitable is that blind trust of what you were talking about, of, like, losing that ability to suss out and think for yourself and say, "Actually, that doesn't seem quite right," and just being stuck and mired in a bunch of horrible conversations going forward of like, "Well, I know you think it's that, but ChatGPT says this, so I guess the conversation's over," is
Yeah.
like, that's not a g that's not a
Well,
very
yeah,
fun way to be a
yeah,
human being,
the
you know?
gray area gets taken out as well as, like, the details and the value in the work, right? Of
Yeah,
of I think there was a study here recently that, like, kind of proved that, like, it's making people dumber in a certain way where because 'cause you're not actually doing the work, and the work is valuable, and the work is, the
100%.
research or the background is, a lot of what you're learning through the process is it's not just whatever the final answer is, right?
Well, and I can, yeah, very, like, realistic example, you mentioned the podcast. It's like, let's say that we wanted to do a deep dive podcast on, whatever topic, the British Open or something, and you could type in there and say, "Give me the 100 most interesting facts about the British Open
Mhm.
over the last whatever," and make it, you give it whatever prompt you want. Like, it's gonna spit those out extremely quickly, and it's gonna allow you to, like, you can then punch it up and say, like, "Oh, number 17 is interesting. I didn't know that about James Braid, like, give me more detail on that," and it'll give you more detail on that, but it's still just, like, such an easy way to become an inch deep and a mile wide
Yeah.
on all of these different things, and, like, that's fun for a podcast, and that's fun for, things like what we do, but, like, is that a good thing? Like, probably not, but at the same time, it's like, well, what was I doing before? Was I, going out and reading James Braid's biography? Like,
Well, so
probably not,
that's yeah,
and so
that's
then it's
kinda
like, well,
where it
what's the nexus or, like, the sweet spot between those 2 things? 'Cause it's just, I don't know, it's very
that's
interesting.
where I think it leads you to wanting like, I guess the idealistic scenario is it leads you back to making a very conscientious decision of, "Hey, I wanna get deep into this," or, "I wanna do the work on this," and it creates more time for that, or it creates now on the flip side is the pragmatic. look at that, just everybody's gonna be glazed over and not, and just being lazy and not wanting to do the work and just going and taking a nap.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably person to person, but I think that's where it's like we as I don't know, like I think in our business, like we need to lean into the subject matter and all of that, and use AI to help clear the clutter that's taking us away from that.
Well, I think as like a yeah, and the best I don't know, we don't have to linger on this all day, but the best or most helpful, I feel like I've seen it in any kind of somewhat borderline creative endeavor, like what we're talking about here, is just sheer brainstorming,
Mhm,
right? And like having like using it as a first pass to cast a really wide net and saying like, "Oh shit, I had no idea who Henry Cotton was. I need to go like maybe I'll like that's a good on ramp for me to go now dig deep into that and
mhm.
maybe it gives me a an on ramp that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I think that's where I'm like, okay, that is making me more efficient and is very helpful and is great. But it's just really hard not to look around the corner and think that we're heading for, just more and more and more Instagram accounts that are like, there was a guy who won 18 majors. How did he do it? Let me give you a quick rundown. Here's
Yeah,
Jack Nicklaus. He was born in Ohio. And it's just like this stuff that's like, hey, spit out an Instagram reel about the 5 best golfers of all time. And like that just seems like where we have been headed over the last couple of years, but maybe there's this inversion point where it's almost like there becomes so much of that bad shit that it puts more of a premium on the really well done stuff. I don't know.
yeah. I think it'll be both, right? I think it'll, that'll definitely happen, but then people like as part of that free time, they'll get better at curating what they enjoy and where they glean
I,
it from. Because I think otherwise too, I also think we need to absolutely vilify and humiliate people who get caught with their pants down, uh, via, AI leading them astray or them getting lazy and
yeah.
throwing something out that is either clearly wrong or clearly they didn't do the work.
Yeah, agree.
So,
Agree. It's I feel like one of the best comps I've heard is the like ironically fast food where it's like, fast food takes off in whatever year, decade time period and it becomes this completely ubiquitous thing and
mhm,
as kind of a backlash to that, you start to see more of this like discerning farm to table type of uprising and yada 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 and like, there's more of a premium put on people who are doing things the right way with the right ingredients and et cetera, and I think that makes a lot of sense, but I'm also like, "Well, yeah, but most people
society's
still just
still
eat fast food."
poor for it. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, so, like, that's true. There are a lot of,
Yeah,
like, much better restaurants probably than there used to be, but
yeah,
there's still a lot of Taco Bell as well, and, so I don't know, that I think that actually sums up kinda how I'm feeling is like, yeah, I
yeah.
think there will be a premium on that type of stuff, but it's also
I
just gonna be a
mean,
lot of bad
I was
shit
reading
too.
something the other day on in the Athletic about just like how it's gonna revolutionize football, right? Of like once they kind of build the models that can basically analyze film and
Hmm,
say, hey, we've got, looking at different formations or different things, like it's so far beyond what the human brain can do. And so instead of sitting there grinding tape looking for tendencies, it can pick that stuff up for you in such a more granular way.
it's gonna
And
push
then it's some
put Poosh out of a job.
and then you yeah, and then you gotta, on the flip side, like it's not allowed in game or during games. So then you gotta synthesize all that and figure out how it fits into your human play calling, all of that.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. It starts to make my head spin when I think about some of the knock-on effects of, like, that
yeah,
exact type of stuff and what's gonna change and
yeah.
whatever, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It's a topic that's on the mind pretty constantly these days.
What, speaking of a topic that's on the mind pretty constantly, I've been going through withdrawal the last few days because fantasy baseball hasn't been,
Mm,
in play because of the All-Star break.
warms my heart to hear that.
Yeah, and I'm, like, totally back into it. I still don't really watch the games, but I like the concept of baseball.
Can we back up a little bit? What's your history with baseball? What's because you were pretty anti-baseball for a while until you got into the fantasy league, and now you know more about a lot of these guys than I do. So, I'm curious, what was what's your background with it?
Yeah.
How did you fall out of it, and what's it been like to get back into it?
Loved it growing up. Grew up in Atlanta in the early mid '90s. Watched the Braves every night on
Sure.
the Superstation, PBS. Shout out to Pete Van Wieren and Skip Carey and Chip Carey and Don Sutton and the gang. Um, but yeah, and then worked for the played little league. Worked for the Reds. Interned for the Reds for a season, 2008, I believe. They were terrible. Went to 80, I think I went to 78 home games between preseason, a couple exhibition games, and then yeah, pretty much every homestand. So you're going to the ballpark for like 2 weeks straight, wearing a suit, being there from like noon to midnight.
And I know you've told me about this, but what were you, like, doing? Was it a little bit of catch-all stuff, or was it kinda like
Yeah.
promotions
No,
type
I was a
guy?
promotional events
Yeah.
marketing intern.
So
So
we've got
promotional
such and
events
such
slash marketing.
throwing out the first pitch. Can you make sure they know where their
Yeah,
green room is and
opening
stuff?
day, we have Nick Lachey throwing out the first pitch.
Sure.
It's your job to meet him in the parking lot, uh, escort him around for the rest of the day, even while he goes out to the, power stacks and gets shit faced with his buddies, that sort of thing. Tuesday rolls around. Your job is to escort Gapper and and Mr. Redlegs around to all the different luxury boxes and then down onto the field and then take pictures with all these kids. And, those guys were great. They're a couple of, high school, I think elementary and high school teachers that just love to chill out, if you know what I mean. Uh, which I don't know how else you would survive because it's so hot in that thing. Wednesday, Brandon Phillips or Ken Griffey Jr. has an autograph signing at Dick's Sporting Goods off, out in Montgomery. Take him there. Thursday, you gotta drive 2 hours to go get a bunch of all-star ballots from this elementary school, you know, down in northern Kentucky. Um, let's see. Yeah, Friday, you're organizing all of the somebody wants to propose to his wife or his girlfriend on
Sure.
the jumbotron. You have to try to convince him out of that. Basically, stuff like that. It was fun. It was a good, it was a uh, cool thing, but it kind of made me realize like I do not want to work in baseball specifically, but probably sports as well. Like great people at the Reds. I think some of them are probably still in their same roles, and 14 years later, 16 years later, 17 years later now. And yeah, I kind of looked around and I was like, oh, like all these people, like nobody leaves, nobody in there, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
giving up your summers and all of that. So yeah, from there, kind of deeply, deeply disillusioned. Um, moved back to Atlanta. We did a lot. Like I would go to a few Braves games here and there because all the teams would give us tickets and they would roll through. So like I remember going to who was the Marlins pitcher that unfortunately passed away? It was, Jose Fernandez.
Yeah.
So,
So it's whatever.
I remember going to a Braves game and, like, Jose Fernandez threw, like, a just masterpiece complete game, you know, 13 strikeouts kinda thing. It was, like, one of the best performances sporting performances I've ever seen in person. So, there was still that appreciation for it, but we moved to Boston, we lived down the street from Fenway, and, like, I remember going to a couple games and being like, "Get me out of here." Like, I'm sitting at Fenway Park with a hot dog and a beer, and I'm like, "Get me the fuck out of here. I do not wanna be here, like, this is just so boring." And, yeah, so that was kinda just stopped paying attention to baseball, stopped watching it, and so now, yeah, I think having kids, just getting them into I like some of the slower pace and, like, showing them, "Hey, not everything has to be a 30-second highlight clip or, a 6-second football play." Like, there's an ebb and a flow, to a game, to a season, all of that.
What
Um,
if I told you this at bat's all about the at bat that was 48 minutes
yeah.
ago? That yeah, some of those knock-on effects are always really
I
fun.
like what they've done with the game as well, speeding it up. Like, that was
Yeah.
part of the reason I didn't like it for a while. I remember I've gone to a couple Braves games the last few years with my mom and Freddie, and we've just been like, "Oh, holy shit! Like this is different.
Moves
This is a
almost
yeah,
goes too fast when
too
you're in
fast
person.
in spots."
It's
Exactly.
great on TV, but in
Yeah.
person, you're almost like, "God, come on, man. I parked. I got the babysitter. I got some beer. Like, slow this thing down a little bit, you know?" But, on TV, it's awesome.
And then I think too, it was just that, there was less. There just seemed to be less strategy there for a while. It was like kind of a
Yeah,
three outcome thing. You either walk, you hit a home run, or you strike out. Seems like some of that's been, it's not totally fixed, but some of that's been brought back of stolen bases and defense and all of that. So I think that's, and I think just generally I like scouting. I like how to build a team. Like it doesn't matter whether that's basketball. I don't really watch that much NBA, but I follow free agency very closely. Or NFL, I follow free agency. I watch games dawn till dusk on the weekends and grind tape. Obviously, that's probably the exception. But like baseball, I don't really watch the games, but I like stats. I like development and seeing someone be something that the stats wouldn't suggest that they were otherwise. Like, seeing surprise jumps in someone's development, or hey, this trait is in there, even though he hasn't shown it yet. It's in there. We know it. We're going to get it out of him. We're going to develop him. So, yeah, I think like I don't know. I think prospects. I think like I've talked to Solly a bunch about it. I think it's for all its flaws and everything. Like as a fan of baseball, the whole like arbitration system and player control for 6, 7, 8 years there is like it's pretty fascinating and it's pretty fan friendly in a way that like it's from a developmental perspective, it's cool to watch a team be built.
for sure. Totally agree, and the only thing I would add to that is just there's just such a big sample size with
Yeah,
that many games and playing every day that there's always, like, it's not like football where it's like you're playing once a week and maybe a receiver gets targeted 4 times or something like that. It's like, no, man, they're gonna have 4 or 5 at bats every night. They're gonna play the field every night. The pitcher's gonna go out there every 5 days and like
yeah,
he's gonna probably throw at least 4, 5, 6 innings. And it's just I don't know, you get such a good sample size that you can kind of follow. It just feels like more there's more continuity almost where you can Randy always says this, but, like, you can have so much connectivity with baseball without ever having to watch the games because it's so easy to it's just I think it's the easiest sport to look back the next day and, like, in the quote unquote newspaper or, like, looking at the app and looking at the box scores and just be like, "What did I miss last night?" You can get a pretty good feel for a game on
yeah,
you might not know that a guy went 1 for 5. You don't know if that hit was an infield squib or, like, a, line drive off the wall, but outside of that, it's like you can get a pretty good sense of what actually happened without feeling like you need to sit in front of the TV for 3 hours a night,
totally
even though
agree.
that's fun too.
It was like one of the things that made me like I read the paper every morning since I was like second grade. And it was like one of the things that like made me, I would look at Braves box score and then I would read Mark Bradley and Furman Bisher in the Atlanta Journal Constitution. And then and it was very much just, it was a habit. It was a
Yeah.
constant, and I think that's what I like about the fantasy baseball. It gives me something
That's
to
what I was
check
gonna
every morning of like
exactly.
when I'm having my coffee of like, oh, you know what, this guy's playing well, or like, checking the waiver wire, or I mean, I've got kind of a dysfunctional roster right now. We're building towards 2026, and I think I have like I think I have
Let's check the standings
I think
here.
I have like 7 of the top 100 picks next year, which is really
You're
crazy, and I've got
you're
Ellie De La
stashing.
Cruz as a keeper, and I've got, like, every other keeper that anybody would want off of the waiver wire right now. Like, I'm going deep, on, keepers to where people are gonna come calling to me after the season's over, wanting to, you know, move a draft pick for a keeper. So there's some arbitrage there.
I also appreciate I mean, granted, you are an 11th out of 12th place, but you're putting in the work, whereas your brother,
Yeah,
farmed out his team to, trap
my
draw
friend
love
Jerry.
Jerry Bell, and it just, yes, they're leading the league, but Neil is just like he's just outsourced all the GM work, but he's still gonna be up there on the podium, like, taking pictures with the trophy. It's just two wildly different approaches.
I mean, in true Marlins man fashion, I'm in 11th because I traded like 3 of my first 4 draft picks for this year, last
It's
year
true.
to go
Yeah,
all
you did
in,
kinda
and
push
then
all
I
the
di and
last
then I
year.
traded, I traded Schwarber, who was one of my keepers, and a couple other
Sure.
guys, for Yuri Perez and Ellie and things of that nature. So, yeah, no, it's
Future's
just I don't know.
future's
It's
bright, you're saying.
exactly, yeah, I mean, Baseball America loves my farm system. Traits, baby.
Oh, man. Well, good,
Log
I'm glad
jam at
you're
certain positions and all that, but, um,
I'm glad you're back in the boat. It's fun,
yeah.
fun having you.
Yeah, and it's fun. It pisses me, man. It grinds my gears when Solly just reduces everything down to like this guy. He's a 2.3 WAR player. That's like there's no nuance in that, or there's no gray area in that, or like the guy's incapable of getting better or worse, or like you got to
We
bet
have
on people, right?
we
You got to take
we
some swings. Otherwise, it's just you can't just take what the computer is spitting out based upon what the past returns for the last 2 seasons have been, you know?
it's really hard because I think doing that is probably gonna net you out more wins than losses over the
Yeah,
course of, a 10-year
but it's an art.
stretch, but it's not
Yeah.
nearly as fun, right? It's not nearly as
Well,
fun
it's
to
not nearly as
kinda
fun, but also, like,
squint and be like, "Ah, that guy with the right pitching coach, I don't know, who knows?" That's why
that's what I
everybody
love
makes
about
fun
your
of the
Brewers.
exactly. Exactly what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. It's like, yeah, you pick up all these guys that, are working at Culver's, and you get them in there to, like, as a 6th inning guy or 7th inning guy and a valuable trade piece down the line, or, like, who knows? It's really fun. I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to watch this Andrew Vaughn experience that was, like,
Yeah.
much like me, traded his White Sox hat for a Brewers hat, this year in the Aaron Civale trade, and, a guy that I'm just like, every White Sox game that I watched over the last, whatever, 4 or 5 years, just like, "Man, that guy is like he's so much better than this. I know he's better than this. I know he's better than this." And it was just like, I mean, he all the way to the point where he was, I think, 3rd overall draft pick in was like 2018 or 19, and like was sent down to AAA, I think, before he got traded to the Brewers, and it was just one of those that, like, stuck in your just stuck in the back of your mind, where you're just like, "Man, I know this guy's gonna pop at some point." He had a really good first couple years and then just fell off a cliff, and, of course, like, now coming to the Brewers, Reese Hoskins gets hurt, he gets a chance to start, and it just kinda, like, lit the world on fire in his first 5 or 6 games, so, like, 5 or 6 game sample size, does that mean anything? Probably not, but from a, like, "No, this guy sucks, he's a negative WAR," perspective, it's fun to be on the other side of that and be like, "Well, yeah, but what if it changes, man? Who
Oh,
knows?"
yeah, or what if that positive war happens at the right time? Like,
Yeah,
you still gotta play the games, and you still
exactly.
gotta situations matter and all of that. I think there's something to be said for that. And I know it's such a big sample size that stuff balances out, but it certainly does in the postseason. Those are small
Yeah.
sample sizes, and you bet on makeup and different things there. I would love for your Brewers to take a flyer on Big Sandy.
They got too much pitching, man.
I know,
They got too much.
you can
They're
never have
too
too much pitching.
they're flush with
I want
pitching right
them
now.
I want their pitching lab to nurse him back to health. So, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
like Luis Roberts, a perfect example of like, hey,
talk about traits.
maybe his like war this year isn't like, yeah, he's bad, he's hit like shit, but maybe part of that is like he just hates being a White Sox.
Yeah, he's just completely mired in obscurity, just trapped inside of an awful decaying organization.
He
Like,
still
I
plays
think
great
there's
defense and he can run and all of that, and, like, maybe there's something that a pitching coach in your organization can unlock. Like, there's
yeah.
always that. It's so much more coaching oriented, I think, you know?
For sure. I think that's right, and I think, like, again, White Sox getting a lot of run here on this podcast, but it's like you look at, like, I don't know, Lucas Giolito is a former White Sox player who's now having a great year. You look at Romy Gonzalez, who's like a White Sox, like completely obscure second stringer that now has broken out with the Red Sox. You look at Michael Kopech on the Dodgers, was a stud. Garrett Crochet, I mean, he was a stud on the White Sox, but now looks
Yeah.
even better than he did before. Andrew Vaughn has the potential to be one of those guys. I'm trying to think who else. Jake Berger was one of those guys for a little bit for your Marlins. I think maybe he's he's cooled off since. But yeah, I don't know. Somebody might need to look at the whole White Sox change of scenery. There's got to be a way you can quantify the inside the White Sox, outside the White Sox
Yeah, man.
performance. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but I feel, I feel like I owe you guys an apology for slagging off baseball, but that's just not where I was in
I
my
love it.
life.
Totally. I've been gone through very similar periods.
Yeah.
I've went through a whole like 10-year phase where I was just like, yeah, baseball's great, but I don't have any time to watch it. I'm not interested. Thought about it, I don't need to participate. And it comes in and out of your life.
Yeah. Wait, all right, you had another one on here, summer scenarios and wine
Yeah, I just need
suggestions.
we
I
don't
love
have to
this.
spend a ton of time on this. I know we're going long, but uh
All good. It's a good pod.
I was just
It's
thinking
Friday.
about the feeling. So I believe I live over here on the east side of Milwaukee. There's a great bottle shop right next to Stone Creek on Downer Avenue
Mhm,
that I believe we went in when you were here. And I just feel woefully out of my depth when I go in there. I don't know really what I like. It feels a little bit like the movie thing we talked about
mhm.
earlier. I'm thinking about, and if you do these off the top of your head, great, but if not, maybe it might be a trade, like, I'll send
The
you f
movies for the
5
wins.
movies, you send me
Okay.
5 wines, but I come up with these scenarios in my head where I'm like, "Alright, we are having people over for, a glass of wine before we're going out for dinner. We're not eating anything, maybe a couple light apps or something." Well, I don't know
Maybe a
what kind of wine.
cheese,
Yeah, maybe a cheese situation.
C plate.
What am I getting from the bottle shop
Okay.
for that type of scenario,
And it's a good bottle shop. I'll give your bottle shop credit.
Good.
It's a nice, like, well-sourced, well-curated local spot. And that would be my first thing would be go in there and trust the person in there, but you're saying you don't even know
Totally.
where to
Yeah,
start.
that's where I'm always like,
Yeah.
what do you think I should get?" He's like, "I don't know, what do you like?" I'm like,
I don't know. Yeah.
I like it all, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel just so out of my depth on how to
Okay.
even start the process.
So do
Um
you have scenarios you wanna lay out?
Well, no, I mean, I'll start with
Okay.
that one. It's a beautiful summer. You know what the summertime feels like up here? It's, in
Yeah.
the evenings next to the lake, it's 70 degrees and sunny, and we're sitting out, we're going to have dinner after this, so we're just looking for something easy drinking before that. One glass of wine that we're having before dinner.
I would do actually John Rahm served this at his champions dinner.
I know what you're gonna
Uh,
go with, and
I would
I've beat this up. This is my only thing I get now because it's been such a good wreck.
I would do a Jacquelina from, northwestern Spain. It's got slightly effervescent. You've got, Rubentus is a good producer. You can normally get that at a good bottle shop. They make it in a white and like a slight rosé color
Yeah,
as well. That one's got a
we
little
had
bit
that
more
when you were up here.
sweetness to it. And man, I love those. Like it's just such a good summer wine. Doesn't matter if it's 82 or 102 degrees. Um, you know, relatively low alcohol. It's just refreshing and pairs really well. Like I ate a lot of Thai food, Vietnamese food. Pairs well with barbecue. Um, it's just kind of a jack of all trades. Like that's probably we have a case of that in our fridge, and when that's out, you know, I just go buy another one. It's that good. So I would say that, or I think Pinot Gris is pretty underrated. Like there's some good domestic producers of Pinot Gris. There's some good South African ones. Um, there's one that my mom's been drinking a lot. This Gavi. I don't know if it's from Friuli or it's more of a they're starting to sell it more places. It's kind of a shorter, stubby bottle. It's got more of like a golden straw color to it, but it's not heavy or kind of syrupy on the tongue. That's a really nice kind of summer wine. Like I like drinking that after like a big thunderstorm or something where it's kind of humid and it kind of stands up to like the electricity in the air.
How do you spell that?
Oh, it's Cortese di Gavi. So Gavi, and it's an Italian dry white wine, close to the Ligurian border in Piemonte region. So, Villa Sperina is the one that's kind of hot in the streets right now.
What about on the red side of things? Summertime. I mean, I
Summertime, I would go Beaujolais, um, either, a lot of people would say Grenache, Cab Franc, yeah, uh, you know, but Beaujolais, Gamay, um, just I like a red that you can chill down and
yeah.
drink cold. That's there. You've heard me talk about it on this pod. I love the Canary Islands stuff too.
Mhm.
Kind of chill that down. Even a good Pinot, like a good some of the Oregon stuff has you can get some of the lighter ones that are not fruit bombs that are a little bit more like blue fruit. Um, those are good, like from the Van Duzer corridor, kind of there. New Zealand has some nice light Pinots, Central Otago. Um, there's some good ones. Zweigelt is a good one from Austria, kind of
Okay.
like a cousin of Pinot, I would say. It's kind of a cold weather red grape. You can kind of chill that one down as well. Um,
This is great. This is a good start. I think that gives me plenty to experiment with because I feel like I need to. I mean, the whole point of a lot of this is like just stacking up. What do you like? What do you not like? And I
yeah,
feel like I drink wine so infrequently that I don't ever kind of build any sort of critical mass about or any kind of foundation to actually build on and feel like I can confidently answer any of these questions. But it's just gotten I don't know. The summer's so nice here that it's like I'm drinking less and less beer, I feel like, and
yeah.
it's just nice to have truly, like, exactly 1 glass of wine in the evening and, sit outside or, whatever, just kinda enjoy the weather. I feel like the wine hits a lot better, and so it's, like, trying to build a little foundation. This will give me some places to start.
I'll look and see what they've got at your local spot because there's some there's like Red Wise, there's Sinso is really good in the summer. Um, I think some of the whites from like Greece or
Mm,
even like Penedès, like northeastern Spain, are really good. I tend to go, I don't know, like I love Chablis, but like that's more expensive, and you're probably whereas like I like going kind of off the map a little bit and going to underrated or underrepresented regions just because you can get a better deal and the quality is probably going to be better for, let's say you just want to spend 18,
yeah,
22 bucks on a bottle of wine. Because that's the thing that you really realize when you go over,
yeah.
whether it's to Europe or to Australia or, really anywhere besides the States and Canada is just like, man, it's
It's
like,
accessible.
yeah, they just don't pay a lot for like everyday table wine. Like it's like the market just doesn't deal with that. So it's kind of refreshing in that regard. But I mean, I would say, yeah, like I'm gonna get you into the Gruner Veltliners, the
Sure.
Albarinos.
Alright,
What
put
else?
together a
Yeah,
list of I'll
Estero.
hit you with 5 movies, you hit me with 5 summer
Okay.
wines.
All right.
Let's,
Cool.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's a great swap.
Yeah. And then we'll do the same thing in the winter or the
Perfect.
fall.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. Man, we covered a lot of ground here today,
we
TC.
did. We did. Sperm racing to wines to short points
AI.
to AI, yeah, to baseball. So
Yeah.
there you have it. Must be 21 or older and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE NY or text Hope NY in New York. We rocked them.